Well, hey, everybody, how are you? It's good to see you, and it's good to be seen by you. Welcome, of course, welcome to the show. I am the one and only Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver, coming to you live, loud and clear on a freezing Monday afternoon. Good to see you, everybody out there. Tolemicus, Great Old Ones channel, IWS Bull, Jack Nick, Frost 56, stay warm, my friend. Who else is out there? Stephen Kennedy, Bob Jester, Runeword Gaming. Hello to you all. I greet you in the name of humanity. How are you guys? It's Monday, and we have got a week ahead of us and some stuff to do ahead of us. Remdog, good to see you out there. I like how I revved that. Did you like how I revved that up a little? Remdog. Dun, 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 dun. But anyway, um, Stephen Kennedy up there in the Pacific Northwest. Interesting, you guys get up. Like, I am surprised by how not snowy it is up there sometimes. People don't think about this, but you guys are on that that Pacific that Pacific wave, that Pacific like tropical currents. So it's not, it's not as wintry hell as it gets, say, in the Midwest, where I believe oxygen is falling as a solid tonight. But anyway, that's enough about the weather. We all know it's going to get cold, guys. Bring your pets in. Do what you can for the little fuzzies. But anyhow, no, it's Monday, and I didn't do a Monday show last Monday because I was kind of just clapped out from travel and everything else. So here we are, the start of the first full week back from, of course, page 3. For those of you who've been asking, will I be at page 4? The answer briefly is yes, I will. So if you want to come and meet me at page 4 and we'll play some D&D, I will schedule my gaming a little bit better. I will tell you guys where I'm gonna be at, and I want to do an open gaming. I don't want people to feel like they have to buy tickets to come and game with the great and mighty Dungeon Delver. Oh, Rabbit Day. Well, get your Bermuda shorts and your tank top and your flip flops. 7 degrees Fahrenheit. Herperborea. Wow, you guys are really on the social diseases tonight, aren't you? But anyway, speaking of tonight, what is going on with my I feel like I'm sitting in a dark room. Like I'm over here, like, this guest, who will remain unidentified for his own protection, will be talking to us about Dungeons and Dragons. I just feel like there's something going on with that light. See if I can fix that in a second. But yes, I will be at page 4. I had a talk with Ron today, a long talk with Ron today about some odds and ends. And so that's it looks comfortably dark and nerdy. Well, thank you, Runeword. But anyway, I will be there. Of course, I will also be at EggCon, and then in between, coming up the weekend of April 9th, we have got the GWOC. That's right, the Great Underground Online Gaming Convention is happening, and I'm excited about that, and I hope you guys are too, because it is a chance to get together and game in a virtual setting. So your travel costs you 0, your lodging costs you 0, your admission to the con costs you 0. Your fun is infinite payback for that. So we're going to do that, and I want to announce this officially. There will be an auction to help kind of, with operating charges around the Delver's Dungeon. God, that light out is bothering me. I'm gonna fix that in a second. We will be auctioning off one of the original Dungeons and Dragons set recreations. That's right. You will have a chance to win one at auction. As I said, I'm not going to be giving those away anymore as gifts, but you will have a chance to win one of those. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're maybe you're new to the channel, maybe you're a recent subscriber. And by the way, we're at 9185, I think. 84, 85. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about when I say original D&D book reproductions, Gonzalo Lira, listen to the bargain holler, listen to the barter holler, listen to the auctioneer. There you go. It is one of these. It is one of these, and let's just zoom in. This is a reproduction set of original Dungeons and Dragons. This comes with the 3 books. It comes with a reproduction of Chainmail, and it is made to look like a wood grain box with the original Greg Bell artwork on the cover. It references hobbits and ents and balrogs, and it also features the original Greg Bell covers with the nod to Strange Tales 167, I believe. So we will be auctioning it. There will be a minimum bid. There will be a minimum bid on this. So I'm just letting you guys know. Haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but this is your chance. If you didn't win one over the holidays and you didn't win the auction at Page and you're not going to EggCon, but you should, but you don't think you're going to make it to EggCon to try for that auction, and you don't think you can win it at the Claricon, which is up in Glenwood, I believe, Ontario, this fall, then this is going to be your opportunity to win an auction. There may be future opportunities also, but we're just going to put this away because we're not talking about that anymore. So let's do this. And again, I got to step around here. Wheeling Dragon, one of my favorite people. Wheeling Dragon will be running some I believe the Labyrinth lady herself will be running some Labyrinth, which is an excellent little RPG, little 2-die-6 system. Trust me, it's very easy. If you can play Monopoly as far as reading the dice, you can figure out you can figure out the 2-die-6 mechanic of Labyrinth. So she will be there. And for grown-ups, there's a blue Labyrinth after midnight. I'm kidding. That's a joke. There is not. Naughty. No such thing. Let me fix this studio light, guys. I could just have one of the production people do it, but I like to remind people I don't have production. So hold on. I think that's way better. That's way better. And the one day I actually want a hot light pointed at my face. Exactly. But anyway, Jorge Uribe, Jorge, living proof that I span the globe with my fans and my viewers. Jorge, of course, is all the way to, it's summer where he is now. Jorge is all the way at the far end of of chili. So delicious chili. But anyway, so yes, I got the lights fixed there. That was good. But anyway, so that's the guac. That's going to be happening at the guac, and we're going to have Alyssa Hazel as a panelist. We're going to have Tracy Lesh as a panelist. Jeff Talanian, Richard Witters is going to be doing panels. Heidi Gygax and Eric Garland doing panels. Sky Hernstrom panels. We're going to have merch. We're going to have games in the grid. And guys, I mentioned international. I mentioned international, not international, by the way. Gamers of the world unite at a convention and then go home. Anyway, so you will be able to game any hour you want at the guac. It's not like I have to lock up a civic center or something like that. You can just come on, and it's great. That's what's great about it is it's a convention. You can get a t-shirt, mug, hat. I think hats, maybe vinyl mat, any number of things, and you can just you can have the con experience wherever you are in the world, guys. You want to play OD&D with a local group in a convention setting, but you're in England. You want to play Call of Cthulhu and you're in Japan. You want to play I don't know, Bunnies and Burrows, but you're in Australia. You can absolutely do that at the guac just by logging on. I think it's pretty awesome. Remdog asks, have I heard from Rob Kuntz in the last week? He seems to have gone radio silent on X. Rob, okay, first of all, no, I haven't heard from Rob. But with that said, Rob gets busy. Rob gets in the weeds and he starts working on stuff. And he might just click in and look and look at the current discourse and say, I don't have time for this, and go back to go back to the keyboard, go back to organizing stuff. So it could just be that Rob is heads down right now. I'll send him an email. I'll send him a hello email and make sure he's doing all right. Daniel Rowan asked a good question. Would I have online as well when I host the Overland Guac? And the answer is unquestionably, undeniably, yes. Yes, the online component is never going away. If Guac Overland is one single solitary time only ever, then I would be a fool. I would be a fool to let the great underground online gaming convention go away. Would I not? And I'm no fool, not in that not in that respect. So yeah, no, the guac is always going to be there for you guys as long as I'm always here for you guys. So don't think for a minute, well, Bill's already doing, he doesn't care about us who can just do the online gaming convention. But you're all gonna come to the Overland Guac anyway, and I'll see you all when it happens. All of you. I'm going to insist that you all show up here in sunny Central Florida when that happens. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited, and that is going to happen. You know what else has excited me, guys? You know what else has excited me? We are currently let's see here. Give me just a second. We are currently Oh, I was off a little bit. We're at 9184, 9,184 channel subscribers right now. And I hope it continues on, guys. I really hope it continues on. We are this close to 9,200. This close to 9,200. At that point, we're 800 subs away. We're getting there slowly, surely. We are getting there. I think we can do maybe, couple hundred a month if I'm lucky. We can knock this thing out here before too much longer. So I hope you guys will definitely want to do that. Watch out for the falling. Yes, I will keep my eyes peeled for the falling iguana. Rob is going to let me do some spot illustrations on the module omnibus. Ooh, that's exciting, Rem Dog. That is very exciting. Wheeling Dragons ready to get covered in guac. I mean, ready for the guac. I'm just thinking you can't do that on television, the slime there. But anyway, so yeah, that's what's going on. So the week ahead, tomorrow we play first edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons for you guys. And here's what I mean by we play first edition AD&D. Maybe you're thinking, okay, he's going for the critical role kind of thing. He wants to do like a critical role. Not really, because guys, we're unlike critical role. We're actually going to play. We're really going to play first edition AD&D, and so I'm hyped about that, and I hope you guys are too. Mashed potatoes or Irish guacamole. I love it. I love it. That is fantastic. Or is guacamole is guacamole Mexican mashed potatoes? I say Mexican. I'm not sure where guacamole originated. All the guac bowls I see, that it's like a mortar and pestle. It looks like it was carved, even like plastic ones look like they were carved out of basalt. So I can only presume it's supposed to be volcanic rock from somewhere in Central America. Shadow Dark or Hyperborea, what is the better system? I'm going to say sight unseen. I'm going to go with Hyperborea because I know Jeff and I know his aesthetics. I mean, I think they're two systems that serve, they scratch different itches, guys. They scratch different itches. You know what the beauty of being thinking tool using monkeys is? See, if you're a sparrow, you drop to the ground, you peck around on the ground, you just kind of got to take what's there, right? If the nice old lady has been throwing out bird seed on the ground, you'll get some bird seed. If you've got to get bugs, you'll get bugs. You'll do your best. You got to eat like 42 times your own weight in stuff a day just to keep going. But the point is, the point is, thank you very much, North of the Rockies. Yes, he was Robert Phillips. That is a great reference. Because we're primates, we're like the best primates. Okay. We're not just like, okay, I guess I'll have some green bamboo, or I guess I'll have some banana. That's it. Like those are my choices. We can get the stuff we want. Oh, and I meant to have you guys on the screen. There we go. We can have the stuff we want. I can go out in my kitchen and dig around in my fridge. I got steak out there. I've got chicken and rice. I've got soup in the cupboard. I can make French toast. I could just have some scrambled eggs and cheese. Robert Senton, good to see you. Santa Claus is coming to town. But the point is, we can make choices for things that suit us when they suit us. So tomorrow, if I want what Shadow Dark brings to the table, I'll play Shadow Dark. But if my mood changes and I want to play some Hyperborea, I'll play some Hyperborea. It does not pay me a dime to say I'm not going to play that edition of D&D. It doesn't benefit me at all to be all team one thing. It doesn't. Okay. Well, clearly Travelers appears as a science fiction role-playing game in Star Frontiers and blah, blah, blah. Okay. I mean, there's no purity test out there that nobody's gonna bust your privates for deciding, to play Star Frontiers instead of Traveler, or Star Trek instead of Star Wars, or first edition instead of original, or Holmes Basic instead of Cook Moldvay, or whatever. The point being, when I look at RPGs anymore as a grown-up, I say, what is it? ¿Por qué no los dos? Why not both? Or why not all? ¿Por qué no los todos? Why not everything? Play an RPG that makes you happy. Play an RPG that makes you happy. Don't play one that makes you unhappy. But yes, first edition AD&D is objectively the best RPG, but you're not a bad person for not wanting to play it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Speaking of playing, as I am staying on the topic, we are going to play first edition AD&D. There are no script writing sessions. There are no table reads. There are no rehearsals. There are no story arcs. There is no safety for anyone's character, period. Did I mess it up a little, Jorge? Is it por qué no todos? You don't have to put the los in there. Guys, tomorrow night we could be playing and everybody's wiped out in 5 minutes. TPK, opening 5 minutes. And if that happens, do you know how we're going to get back on our feet? We're going to make new characters right then, right there. How are we going to do that? With Crom, the character record organizational manager. Crom is the last word in first edition. Crom is today's software for yesterday's role-playing game. Crom is a feature complete 100% first edition AD&D compatible character generator. Now, guys, you can go out there and you can find online character generators. Probably the best one is at Dragon's Foot. But let me tell you something. Can you advance that character from that point? Can you load that character back in and add XP and buy new equipment and sell gems and jewelries and age them naturally or unnaturally? Can you drain levels? Can you add little packets of XP? Can you dual class them? Can you turn them into bards? Will it check for psionics? Will it generate a spell book if you create a magic user or illusionist class? No, it won't. Crom is the only software that does all of those things and saves your character as text or as HTML. Guys, Crom can be yours for just $25 US, and that entitles you to every single update, patch, whatever coming down the pipe for Crom. Absolutely. If you're interested, right there is my email address coming across the screen. bsylvia@gmail.com. Get Crom today. Buy one copy, get another for $25. Crom is the premier character generation software of the 21st century. It runs on Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and 11, 32 or 64-bit, also on Linux through Wine, also on Mac OS through Wine. Get Crom today. Get Crom right now. Reach out to me. I'll make it happen for you. How many gigs was that Rollmaster generator, IWS Bull? Does it come with Slapchop? I tell you what, Brad. I tell you what. You buy a copy of Crom and I'll go on eBay and I'll find you a Slapchop. We'll work something out, man. I'll make your hard-boiled egg breakfast sandwich for you. You know what I'm talking about. ShamWow, yes. DMWow. Crom is everywhere you want to be, guys. So please check it out. That's our sponsor. Our other sponsor is our merch, guys. We have t-shirts, mugs, hats, vinyl stickers, vinyl prints, hoodies. Guys, wintry hell is upon us. What can protect your fragile human body from the grips of a malicious frost giant? The Delver's Dungeon hoodie. Check out the merch store. Pick one up today. Stay warm. That's all I'm saying. So moving right along. We are moving ahead. So that's Tuesday, guys. Wednesday, we're not quite ready for the return of Kyle. So Wednesday, we're going to talk a little D&D history. But I don't want to spoil it. Just be ready for Wednesday. Thursday, we do have a guest on Thursday. That's right. Matthew Tapp, Barrows and Borderlands himself, one of the most brilliant young minds in TTRPGs today, will be right here. Well, I mean, he's not going to be like right here. He lives up there. Not up there. He's not in heaven. I don't think. But anyway, Matthew Tapp will be here on Thursday. We're going to talk Barrows and Borderlands. We're going to talk all the goings on about stuff that he's doing right now. I'm excited about that. I love talking to Matthew. He's going to be here Friday. Guess what we're going to do on Friday? We're going to go to Los Angeles in the year 2019, where the Tyrell Corporation has just released its line of Nexus 6 replicants. More human than human. Banned on Earth. These replicants that illegally travel to the planet are hunted down and done away with by a special police branch called the Blade Runners. This isn't called execution. It's called retirement. So I hope you guys will want to tune in on Friday and watch us play. What do I think about George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers? Let me tell you what I think about George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. First of all, I don't know. Is that Roman numerals? Can somebody who's good at Roman numerals tell me what that says? XCV, 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 VCXV. Anyway, X, may I call you X? George Thorogood and the Delaware Destroyers. First of all, their best track is not Bad to the Bone, and I wish people would quit saying that. It's a fun, gimmicky song if you're living in like 1981. Okay. The best track from George Thorogood and the Destroyers is, without a doubt, Who Do You Love? It's fast, it's aggressive, it's dirty. I mean, the exaggerated growl that he affects in Bad to the Bone is genuine in Who Do You Love? Like, Who Do You Love is the guy in black jeans and a white t-shirt who hangs around at the local bar on Saturday night and gets up there and plays the best frickin' rock and roll, rockabilly, blues music you've ever heard in your life. Bad to the Bone is a slick house band that works at a high-end bar that's designed to look like the first guy's bar, but is in the business district downtown. That is what I feel about Who Do You Love versus Bad to the Bone. In the overall, I like much of George Thorogood's oeuvre. I really do. The last single track he had that I recall was Get a Haircut and Get a Real Job. Love that one. Hilarious song. It came out at a time when you had a lot of bands. Now Thorogood always had a good sense of humor in his music. When he was not doing a direct cover, which Who Do You Love is a direct cover. Yeah, he was never afraid of injecting humor in his music. And Get a Haircut and Get a Real Job, I think it's just called Haircut, but I could be wrong about that. Someone check me out. Was such a fun little song, and it was like a single new track on his best of. So like, if you want literally the best of George Thorogood, get that up. And I think it's also got Haircut on it. So I do like it. Yeah, it's called Haircut. But I quite like George Thorogood. Now I'll tell you something. One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer is an epic song everybody should listen to. It is such a great. It is a ballad. And I know people think of ballads that, they go to like, their minds go to like Poison and Rat and bands like that. No, a ballad is literally a story song. It's not a love song. And One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer is such a, like, you can literally, if you listen to that song, picture yourself again in a dive bar, and there's a guy sitting at the end of the bar telling you that. But anyway, to go back, I don't know what was going along. I don't know what was going on. There was a time, and you guys probably remember this, from like the early 90s to, I don't know, the early mid 2000s, 2010 or so, when local talk radio blew up and bled out into a ton of markets. So if you had like a really popular guy in your city, he would go state, then region, and you'd have him hitting bunches and bunches, getting syndicated out in bunches and bunches and bunches of markets. We had that here in Orlando with the Monsters in the morning, and then they were the Monsters in the midday. They were the Monsters in the morning, and it was Russ Rollins was the like guy that that kind of drove that. And when there was a artist performer in town, of course you'd get him on, you'd want to get on. And Thorogood comes on the show. I don't know what kind of bad mojo, what kind of bad chemistry was in the air, but he wasn't having it. They were kind of excited about having him on the show. John Boy and Billy Big Show. Yes. Mark and Brian. So he comes on, and there's crosstalk. Like when I have guests on, there'll be crosstalk, and then I'll be, oh, sorry, you go ahead. Even in professional radio, you get crosstalk. And fucking Howard Stern is going to step on people, and people are going to step on him when they're talking. It's part of natural human conversation, for God's sake. And so, they're kind of enthusiastically chattering with him. And even a big star, I mean, if fucking Robert Plant rolled into Orlando, he's going to get a 15-minute segment on the Monsters. Okay. St. Cuthbert, good to see you. So here comes George Thorogood on the show, and again, introductions, crosstalk, and there's like this long pause after things vote, uncomfortable pause, and Thorogood says, well, are you going to let me get a word in edgewise? If it's okay for me to talk now. And like just shut the hosts down. And it was oh, sorry, okay. And then they they kind of try and pick it up. Yeah, when you've had let me tell you what, I've sat behind this mic for 5 years now, and I've learned a few things. And one is, when you have an enthusiasm break, like if I had a guest on right now and they just said something completely inappropriate, or just said something like just very insulting to me, and it is really difficult to get your feet under you and get moving again. I've had one super awkward guest where I was just kind of looking at the clock like, please end, please hurry up and end, please hour, get here, please. Guys, I'm more than happy to talk to people until my voice is shot and we just press on ahead. But he basically like shuts them down, and they're like, okay, sorry about that. And one of the other guys on the show asked him a question. He's like, hey, I'm just getting into guitar playing myself. I've bought myself a couple of nice guitars, and I really like blues. I love your stuff, and like where's a good place to start? Who I love Zeppelin. I listen to a lot of Zeppelin. Long awkward pause, and Thorogood comes back and says, first of all, just stop listening to Led Zeppelin if you're going to be listening to blues. And another one of the hosts, again, there was a little bit of crosstalk, and Thorogood flips out and drops the call. And I like, I don't maybe Thorogood was just having a really awful morning or something. I don't know, but it was like one of the most uncomfortable Like, and they were pissed at him from that point forward. Like he tried to call back and was like yelling this insincere apology at them. Like it was not a workup. It was not a bit. So, but I don't judge. I judge George Thorogood by the fact that his live album was a charity album, and the fact that I've never interacted with a man. I can't judge him based on one thing, one tiny little, not even a keyhole, a pinhole, like a hair's breadth sized pinhole view of the guy's life, 15 minutes on a local radio talk show. And if I'm being completely honest with you, if you don't know the monsters in the morning, the monsters in the midday, whoever, they're all kind of assholes. So leading up to that, who knows what it could have been. I mean seriously, they're all kind of head cases. So I don't know. That's my George Thorogood stories and such like. Let's move on. Let's open up the floor. Does anybody have any D&D related questions? Any D&D kind of talk? A little bit pertinent to our Wednesday deep dive kind of stuff. I am going to tell you that we're going to be looking a little bit. Now, Kyle and I have done this before. Oh gosh, I'm telling too much already. I want to look a little bit at village, hamlet, and thorpe generation and what we might encounter there. We're gonna dig into dig a bit into the meat of having a city. We'll generate a city, a town. I'm just spoiling it now. I'm just spilling it out. We're gonna deep dive town creation and NPC generation a little bit, guys. George's manager probably set up the interview without George even knowing until 10 minutes beforehand. Let me tell you a little bit of something about that. I fucking hate it. And if that was the case, I sympathize with George. Let's see. Okay, we got questions. We got questions. I will endeavor to answer the serious ones. The serious one first. So Daniel Rowan, Darrow, if I may, says the cleric spell Detect Lie is listed as his 4th level spell, but its description says 3rd. Discuss. You know, I never really got into it. Let's take a look at it. Let's hop over there. Let's open up the player's handbook. Let's have a glance at it and find out what's going on with Detect Lie. So then, okay, so this is under 4th level spells, Detect Lie. Level 4, range 3 inches. That is 30 feet underground, 30 yards above ground. Although 30 yards above ground is pretty wild, you know. He's lying! What? He is lying! I think he said you're Brian. Anyway. Duration, 1 round per level. Area of effect, 1 person. Components are verbal, somatic, and material. Casting time is 7 segments. No saving throw. Explanation description. When the cleric employs this spell, the recipient is immediately able to determine if the truth is being spoken. The spell lasts 1 round for each level of experience of the cleric casting the Detect Lie. Gold dust is necessary for this spell. Its reverse undetectable lie makes bald-faced untruths seem reasonable or simply counters this Detect Lie spell powers. The reverse spell requires brass dust as its material component. Okay, so no mention of 3rd level there. Let's scroll up and see, is it cleric. I see it in the cleric table on page 40 of the player's handbook for 4th level. It is in the 4th level index, if you will. I'm not seeing this listed as 3rd. And the other question was, are gnomes tall enough to reach the keyhole when trying to pick a lock? Do they need a stepping stool? I would imagine that gnomes would include that in their thieves' gear. A little little knurled, maybe like a little metal cleat on the end of like a little 3-step ladder that's like that tall. Because if a halfling can do it, then a gnome would literally just need a little bit of a step up. Is Tunnels and Trolls worth buying? Robert, my experience with Tunnels and Trolls was that it didn't really have legs and that it was very geared for solo play. Like almost exclusively all of its modules are aimed for solo play. So if you want to play solo play, that is your module. That's the play. By the way, we have 48 of you magnificent people watching over on YouTube and 53 on X. Guys, if you're watching me over on X, please give me a shout out. I love to hear from my folks on X. If you're watching me over on YouTube and you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon for notifications. Stephen Kennedy likes white box. Excellent. Were you wrong? Yeah, it looks like, Daniel. Psionics question. When you get one attack and one defense mode based on your original percentage roll, does that mean one of each per battle, or choose one of each and that's what you get forever? It is per battle. Based on your original. No, that attack or defense method is what you've got, and you don't get more until you level. Sorry. You do not get more until you level. The Voulet was created as a result of Dwarven pack horses. An SNL skit gave Tim Gaska's idea. Ha! In 1973, and it appears as level 3 in the description. You know what? Let me get my true first players. Let me see if mine is misprinted also. So just a moment. Ouch. Getting my true first players handbook here. Put the live sign back up. Let me give you guys the high sign. All right. So here we go. True First Player's Handbook from 78. Spell explanation. Cleric. 3rd level. Okay, it's not in the listing. Let me see under 4th level cleric spells and see if it's listing. See what it says there. 7th level, that's not quite so. That's a little more than we thought. Speak with dead. Detect a lie. Okay. Under 4th level, yes, it is a simple typo. It's a simple typo, and it was clearly corrected out in later versions. So I'm just going to put this here for now. So that's my thinking. Just simple typographical error. Damien says he knows I lean on only lawful good human paladins, but do I think Dwarven clan soldier that a samurai would be viable? Samurai is a very, very, very culturally specific thing. I mean, I hate to frame it like this, but that's almost like saying, could an elf, or would you call an elf who casts levitate or fly on himself and uses a wand of magic missiles? Could you give him the class called fighter pilot? I mean, you could call it that, but can you set him in the seat of an F-15? You could call a dwarven fighter of renown a samurai, but is he gonna be out there on the Kawanakajima plain fighting alongside Lord Kagetora? So I don't know. I don't know. What is my opinion? Is it post-apocalyptic Kryn? I was always under the impression it was its own thing. Yes, a dwarf is short and bushy. You are correct. Have you ever considered developing an alter ego archvillain and call him Beck Me Bill? No, I have not. Samurai Dwarf would lead it. Yeah, Jorge, that would require a lot of world building. I know, Damien. It was a joke. I mean, you know, I have talked to people. Now, I've never played in them. I don't know how true this is or is not, but I have talked to people who've said, "Oh yeah, my campaign world is one entire planetary hemisphere is Greyhawk, and the backside is Forgotten Realms, and it's called the Forgotten Realms because it's on the far side of Greyhawk." Or they, the Dragonlance and Kryn are the same, or Dragonlance and Greyhawk, or Dragonlance and Forgotten Realms, same planet, that sort of thing. But I've never seen it practiced, but you could certainly campaign. I mean, as broken and screwed up as the world of Athos is, it could be any of them. It could be Greyhawk thousands of years in the future, Kryn, Mystara, what's the world in Forgotten Realms? It could be that. It could be any of them. Put them all on the same globe, just a giant super Earth. Toro, thank you. Oh, Jorge, we got to be careful with that one, buddy. Preferred stat generation method. I used to be a dedicated 4-die-6 discard lowest arranged to taste guy. But when I built Crom, method 3 became my go-to. So method 3, to remind you, 3-die-6, 6 times for each stat, and keep the best roll. So if I do Crom and do 3-die-6, I came up with 13, 10, 15, 17, 14, 15. Yeah, if you've got Crom, method 3, that's your money method. If you don't got Crom, I hope you have time. Updates on my writing projects coming out. They're at before the end of the month. That is by Sunday. All of the Master Thief levels will start receiving their modules again. I will release the January module. So that's going on. I'm working with Heidi and Eric on the EggCon module. I'm working on a module for Guac, and I am working on stuff with Yang Yan Zhao. The lads over at Frog God Necromancer have reached out to me about possibly doing some stuff with them. I don't know what fruit that may bear. I talked to Ignatius Umlaut about possibly putting something in Fight on. So there's a few things that could come to pass. How do I find the time? Not easily. I am I'm on eternity leave. That helps. If I use a Gothic Arc supplement for Greyhound, sorry, for Ravenloft rather. You know, I of Tegel Manor, I have to say this, and we've deep dived Tegel Manor before, but of Tegel Manor, I have to say this. It is such an odd. How can I describe this? You know how with TSR and then Wizards of the Coast, we had, we had the Tomb of Horrors, and if you want to be nitpicky about it, we had the folio version of Tomb of Horrors that's here in the Art and Arcana book, but nobody saw that until they did. But we had Tomb of Horrors for AD&D, then Return to the Tomb of Horrors, then Tomb of Horrors for I believe there was a 30 Tomb of Horrors book, and then it came out for 4E, and then there was Tales from the Yawning Portal, which has Tomb of Horrors in it. It's been over and over and over and over and over. And Tegel Manor seems to kind of, it's like, how many rule systems has it been under? OD&D, AD&D, whatever, it's been generic. It's been whatever Frog God is putting out. So I guess decide what hobby gets priority. Yeah. Oh, I wanted to show you guys something. This is not just me bragging. I just think this is really cool. So I've taught before, like when I was at Page, Mobile Studio kind of worked. It was just the phone for the Mobile Studio, but the little laptop for some reason was not keeping up well with chat. It was not doing as well as it had been at EggCon the year before. And unfortunately, that thing is very limited in terms of RAM that it has to putter around with. It's Windows 8.1 on 2 gigs of RAM. And granted, a quad core CPU, but it's 4 1.2 gigahertz Atom cores. Yes, there are many Tegel Manor versions, Jorge. That's so yeah, I mean, it's got, it's got a touch screen. You can do basic word processing on it. You can watch a video at 480p without too much trouble. I don't know. I suppose you could play some late 90s era games on it. But ultimately, it wasn't getting it. And I saw an opportunity. Now, I know I cry and moan about how broke I am, but on eBay, they had a refurbed laptop for $20 a month. That I can do. So I got myself this Dell. And yes, I've already got a sticker on it. Um, but this is it's for mobile studio work. This is going to be awesome. Um, it did come with a broken USB 3.1 port there, which is a shame, but I was going to buy a hub anyway, like a $9 hub that's got like 3 of those and 5 USB 3 ports, so I'm not too fussed about it. But whoops, I turned it on. Um so yeah, this is my new toy, and this is an 8th gen i5. It's got 8 gigs of memory. I did install Windows 10 on it. Dell was Dell basically on their website for this laptop. It wasn't like, okay, I got to whack Windows 10 on here manually and you know open the case and see who made the chipset for this, that, and the other. Um, but I got the official Windows 10 reinstall media from Dell. And yeah, it's got enough oomph that I can stream with it and all that sort of thing. Why not a yeah? Because I want my hardware to work for me, not the FBI and Microsoft. But it's got a camera built into it. Not a great camera. It's like a 720p webcam. So I'm gonna plug. Did some of that weekend storm dip down to my area? It will. We did not have too much cold weather here, but it's getting cold right now, guys. It's definitely getting cold. Got to get a new computer. Any suggestions? What do you want to do with your new computer? Tell me. Yes, JG did the original what do you call it? They did the original Tegel Manor. I hope you do too, Wheelie. I mean, I hate to sound like a shill, but you know, if you can do $20 a month, yeah, it's going to take me a week to pay off, a year to pay off. But like I said, 20 smackers a month. You show off your Tegel Manor on your channel. Do you have the orange insert booklet, Gonzalo? I have that one around here somewhere. I'm like 99.99% sure that that I have uh, shown off that particular one. No, oh, sorry, Wheatley Dragon. Cheap laptop on Amazon, payments $20 a month. Yeah, that's the one I have, Gonzalo. Mayfair, Luzoki and Game Science, Necromancer. I feel like there was somebody else too. Judges Guild, Game Science, Necromancer. Yeah, that's 3. Wow, there are currently who's watching out there. There's 72 of you guys watching on YouTube. Thank you so much. Please, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, please do click the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications. That's the call to action, guys. I would really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it. Save. And like the stream. Definitely like the stream. So I'm just catching up with everyone's messages here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything while I was babbling on about my tech. Nope, we are up to date. I want to mention something. The latest informational YouTube videos, the shorts, if you will, and I've been trying to go further with those. I've been trying to get back to doing more of those. Do you guys like the vertical slices out of the interviews more, or do you like when I come in and do the voice more? Do you prefer the voice or the vertical slice? Just let me know. I'm keen to know. I'm keen to know. Would love to hear your opinion on that. Did you know? I think I told you guys somebody accused me of being AI voicing that. I thought that was pretty funny. Beep boop. I am a robot. Daniel Rowan likes them equally. Remdog just likes them. Well, more are coming. More are definitely coming. They were spaced out kind of weird today and only did a couple, but I'm definitely going to be uploading more frequently with them starting tomorrow. I've got another vertical slice I'm doing, and at least a couple more trivia ones before I dip back in and do more stuff. My AI voices for very funny. You know, can I tell you guys something? I saw that Rem Dog. That was funny stuff. But going back and listening to my interviews with Jim Ward reminded me just how much I miss him. Just how delightful it was to talk to Jim, and I miss that. Jim was just a bundle of fun. So, as I have said, take your time and talk to talk to the people who made the game, because they're not going to be around forever. I'm not trying to be morbid about it, but that's just kind of how it is. Now that I've made everyone have a sad, let's hop over here and have a quick look. If you haven't subscribed already, guys, please do. We're at 9,184 subscriptions around here, and I like that number, but I'd like to see that number grow up. I would like to see that number go up. Do I have heat in Florida? Yes, we have heat. The heat will be on tonight. Fear not. PNP was Avalon Hill at one time. Was it ever Wizards? Not sure about what you're asking, Remdog. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got to tell you guys something. I thought it was cold when I was up in Philly. You know, they had that driving snow, but it was like, 1920 during the day. Get down to like 10, 8 or 10 at night. But it was all on the north side of that zero line. You guys can keep this, minus 40 wind chill nonsense. Powers and perils. Okay. I just like to throw that back at people when they come to Florida and they're, oh my God, I'm boiling. Oh, it's like I'm trying to inhale out of a furnace. It's not hot. You can't hear your skin sizzle. You don't know what hot is. Then I go up to Philly, up to Lake Geneva, foot of snow on the ground. I can literally step outside and feel the heat being sucked out of my body, like a D&D spell. I got people standing around me in t-shirts and shorts going, it's not cold. You don't know what cold is. Your eyeballs aren't freezing in your skull. I just give them the same thing when they come to Florida. That blowtorchy effect means the sun's working. So yeah, that is cold. Thank you very much. That is cold. That is plenty of cold. That is, I don't want that cold. But there's 81 of you fine people watching over on YouTube. If you haven't, please, I ask you, if you haven't, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. That's not hot, Daniel. Not 91 and 80%, 95 and 80% relative humidity. You know what we call that in Florida? Spring. Jorge burns when exposed to the sun. A friend of mine actually can help you with that. He's a doctor. He's currently in Eastern Europe. His name is Van Helsing. I will send him to you. RPG Geek does not indicate. I got to give big ups to RPG Geek because, man, a lot of stuff that I didn't know existed from TSR, I have found full pages of info about on Board Game Geek and RPG Geek. So what else have we got going on? That's kind of the week ahead. I'm not doing anything this coming weekend except kicking back. Have I always been Florida man? No, I was born I was born Georgia man, or I was born Georgia babe, and then I became Alabama boy, but then Florida man. So you can see, to quote Johnny Cash, I've been everywhere, man. No, I haven't been everywhere. I'm trying to think of states I've been in. Florida, obviously, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, naturally, Alabama, New York, Pennsylvania, a couple of times, Wisconsin, a lot, Illinois, a few times, Washington State, Texas. I've also been to Cozumel, Mexico. Yes, Jorge, but you can build one out of blocks of ice. It'd be the cold miser. You were a Florida man for about 7 months in 1985, 1986. Yes, that at the NTC, right, Bob? Getting your glow on down there. Easier to enumerate where you have not been. By the way, Bob, I know you probably don't care to, but that is all now a massive housing development. They started building housing development in there, and there were still like the multi-story, like the dorm towers out there that they were demolishing. And then they found out that a Navy base built during the 1940s and built up during the 50s and 60s actually has a lot of really terrible stuff that you have to remediate. Not like, not like a Russian military base where it's like, well, I stepped on the ground in my bare foot and now I'm going to die from the toxicity in the soil. But it was still pretty rough. Camelot Gaming asks what we've missed. Just hanging out, having fun. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what Bob and I are talking about, there were two naval training centers, basically boot camp for Navy guys to attend here in the United States. One was on Lake Michigan. It may still be there. I don't know. I would hope so. But the other one was the Orlando NTC, and it was massive, 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 massive building. And yeah, it just a huge facility out there. Well, it got bracked, base realignment and closing. Essentially, the Clinton administration came in, found every state that didn't go blue when he got elected, and shuttered their military bases. That's essentially what happened. That's essentially exactly what happened. And because at that time, Orange County stayed red, the decision to shutter a Navy base in a state where we have many Navy bases, and is located pretty on the water to the Midwest. That was all she wrote. But I mean, there's a lot of abandoned military infrastructure in the U.S. People don't get this. People don't understand this. And I swear I'm not going political here. But here in the United States, this country was on a war footing pretty much from 1941 to 1991. Yes. I'll say it again. A war footing from 1991 or from 1941 to 1991, not just 1941 to 1945. Because immediately after the end of World War II, the Cold War clicked on. We continued to build military infrastructure. Little towns you never heard of, suddenly, when the Cold War started to heat back up in the 50s, that they'd just been like a wide spot in the road with a training center, they started building back up. And we kept our foot on the gas. We kept our foot on the gas for that for decades, for 5 decades. Suddenly, the biggest reason to keep doing that, the USSR went out of business. We had the dog and pony show of the Gulf War. And then we said, let's roll them up. Let's close them up. And the Bush 1 administration said, yeah, I think we can close some of those wide spot in the road military bases. Started BRAC, started shuttering stuff. And the Clinton administration said, oh, we can do more than that. But again, I'm running the risk of getting political, so I should stop. Anniston, perfect example, IWS. Although Anniston still has tank, it still has its tank refurbishing, and it still has chemical weapons destruction. Basically, we're not in the business of planning to drop sarin gas all over the red hordes anymore. So any of that stuff that they find, they take there, and they have basically a plasma furnace that reduces everything that is not an element to so much ash. All the decommissioned missile silos. Did you know? Fun fact. Did you know there are actually missile silos in Florida? They went to the trouble of boring holes into the ground in Florida, even though our water table is like 20 feet down. Boring holes, some places it's less than that, and then keeping them pumped out all the time to have missile silos in various places in Florida. We had Nike Ajax was another one. And if you're wondering what those are surface-to-air missiles designed to shoot down bombers. And we had a bunch in South Florida that were pointed at Cuba. The Nike Ajax has a nuclear warhead in it. So, it doesn't have to hit a bomber. It doesn't even have to get close to a bomber. It just has to get close to some bombers. And then that's the end of them. Oh, somebody asked about Robert Phillips said there's more than a few training aircraft in Lake Michigan from that airbase. Yes. Now here's another fun fact. I'm just spitting fun facts. And I've talked about this before. When you look at the totality of navies and their aircraft carriers during the Second World War, we built enough to just like give them to countries we liked. Like Britain needed aircraft carriers. Here's some aircraft carriers, Britain. Just here, take these. Y'all need airplanes. They're called Corsairs. They're fucking awesome. Take these, By the end of World War II, we had 128 aircraft carriers. The next nearest power was Japan with, they actually still had 4 aircraft carriers. A couple were building and 2 had been basically dry docked because of damage they had taken. But still, on paper, they had 4. The next nearest country was Italy. They had 1. It was technically operational, but it had never been fully commissioned into service. Germany had a semi-complete one that they used for wood storage. They realized that they were not going to be sending out a fleet aircraft carrier. So they they basically said, well, you know what, we can put einen 2x4s in das aircraft carrier Gewerk. So that's what they did with theirs, and then the Soviets got it and they did a Sync-X on it. So after the United States, again, Japan, and no, I'm not counting Britain because we gave them their aircraft carriers. So it was Japan, then Italy, then Germany. I'm being very generous counting Italy and Germany in there, but there you go. Doc Flamingo, how are you? Here's the funny part. 2 of our aircraft carriers were in the Great Lakes. Not they traveled through the St. Charles estuary or anything like that. They didn't go some funky secret route. They took a side paddle wheel steamer, chopped the upper decks off of it, put a flight deck and a minimal conning tower on it, or a minimal flight island on it. Had no elevator, had no hangar, wasn't armed. Yes, steam paddle wheels. And we had two. They were called the Corn Belt Fleet because they were up in the Midwest. And they trained pilots. Now here's the funny thing, because somebody was mentioning something about ships being in the Great, or about aircraft being in the Great Lakes. There's like 300 or 400 aircraft that were lost in the Great Lakes. It's like, oh crap, we lost a plane. Well, is the pilot okay? Cool, fish him out. We'll make fun of him and we'll start over. That's why we train you, so you don't go out there and do that in the ocean. Keep it going. So for takeoffs and landings, if the wind wasn't right, because they didn't have catapults, if the wind wasn't right, they'd take off on the land and then land on the aircraft carriers and then wait for the wind to get right so they could take off again. But yes, we had two aircraft carriers that we just built in a lake. It was just fascinating. One was the USS Wolverine, and I forget what the other one was, if somebody wants to look that up. There. What's the relevance? Harpoon. Twilight 2000. Imagine, they're never scrapped. The U.S. Navy, which has been scraped thin, pulls one out as a museum piece and puts it in service as a command boat. Hey, wait a minute, this might actually work. Has just a few helicopters converted over to military use and is basically maintains the peace in the Great Lakes. I like that idea. I can believe it, Robert Phillips. Yeah, the Great Lakes are fresh. Hudson Bay is the next northernmost isolated body of water, but I think it's effectively salt water because it's the size of Hudson Bay is like as big as the Gulf of Mexico. It is not a little teeny. It is not a lake. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's very gameable. Think about that. So just imagine the Wolverine wasn't scrapped. It was kept as a museum ship. It's it's after Twilight 2000. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is get up there and get that ship up and running again. Oh, it's ridiculous, but Twilight 2000 is fundamentally a ridiculous game anyway. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but even at the time, Twilight 2000, not knowing now what we didn't know then, but it's like even back then, the hoops through which the designers had to jump to make it so that NATO was utterly destroyed, so that a lot of those guys were in the military and they studied this. Essentially, if you leave NATO intact after the ass kicking the Soviets got in China in the Twilight 2000 timeline, if you leave NATO intact, France stays, Italy stays. Italy and Italy, Bulgaria, Greece, and Turkey don't all basically go to war with each other, and Italy doesn't become like capital C communist, capital S Soviet allied. If you don't do that, even after the exchange, NATO conquers all. I mean, basically, you pop like 5 cities in the USSR, and that's it. Their transportation hubs are broken. Their logistics are broken. Their populations are hosed. But knowing now what we didn't know then is, I mean, in Twilight 2000, Poles may or may not be a threat. What we know now was if the balloon had gone up, barring just straight out NATO being the instigators, just attacking, the Poles would have turned on the Soviets immediately. They hated the Soviets. Same with the Ukrainians. So right there, 2 countries right here like steel jaws, which of course, if you're playing a Twilight 2000 tabletop scenario, might be what precipitates the nuclear exchange, right? They're like, let's go get them, comrades. And they're like, up yours, we're attacking. And then the Russians are like, well, this is no good, fire the nukes. So I think that's the kind of situation that that you would have, where you could make a plausible Twilight 2000 scenario where NATO does better, but doesn't necessarily triumph overall. But that's up to you. That's up to you. You know, maybe one of these days we can game out some more. I did a live play demonstration of tank battles in Twilight 2000, but Twilight 2000, but I think like 8 people watched that live stream that night. So who knows? Maybe I can do that again one day. That's, you know what, that's just about all I've got for tonight, guys. And I really am grateful because there are 81 of you people watching out there on live stream on YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody. Please, if you haven't already, do click the subscribe button, click the bell icon for notifications. For our patrons, oh, that's very cool, Bob Jester. At the veteran, I'm sorry, not the veteran, at the master thief or higher, because guess what? Something is coming that is a higher tier. Oh, that's so cool, Bob. But your modules, you guys, are going to start flowing again here by the end of the week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Bob, is that the NATO heavy weapons handbook, by the way? I'm just kind of curious. Anyway, guys, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Like I said, 81 of you beautiful people watching over on YouTube, another 72 watching over on Twitter. We will be back tomorrow night. We will be playing first edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Come in, sit, watch, ask questions about what we do, how we do it, and I will be more than happy to answer that question for you. And I want to just thank all you guys for being here tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. But please, guys, do remember, if you're cold, they're cold. Please do bring in your owl bears. Peace. Good night. Love you all.
Have you seen my owl bear? Here's to all the weirdos everywhere, in the woods and in the air. Have you seen my owl bear? Should I shave off all my hair? Bobs are all around, some live in tunnels underground. Some are fat, some are rich, some are sleeping in a ditch. Can you ride a crooked horse without a saddle, way off course? Naked as a toad, all the way to Smoky Joe's. Have you seen the little creep driving fast in his little green Jeep? He smells like fish and brandy, but his rotten teeth look dandy. Take me to the show. I don't care if fast or slow. From action flicks to dancing dicks, just take me to the show.